right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Brisk breeze. The rain chances go down, but the wind stays up. What the sky will look like for the Cardinals home opener and an optimistic peek at Monday's eclipse forecast.
Beefing up school security, one district's big investment. The call for help every staff member will have at their fingertips. Our top story, shots fired in a quiet neighborhood as two car owners come face to face with an armed man.
They're extremely lucky, and we could not be more thrilled that they're okay.
Tonight, investigators are questioning the gunman's criminal intent. Tonight, the man accused of committing two separate violent crimes in Brentwood is behind bars. Good evening, everyone. I'm Kelly Jackson.
And I'm Mike Bush. This all happened at the Brentwood Forest condominiums last night. Police say the suspect first tried to carjack a woman at gunpoint and then fired shots, hitting a man's car. 5 on your side's Robert Townsend is live in the neighborhood tonight with what else he's learned. Robert.
Mike, tonight all is quiet in this neighborhood, but last night Brentwood police rushed here. That's after getting several 911 calls from alert neighbors. Police say it was a terrifying time for two innocent people who crossed paths with one man. They say suspect Davenier Jefferson from St. Louis first tried to steal a woman's Jeep outside her Brentwood home. According to court papers, the woman told officers Jefferson emerged from the bushes and suddenly tapped on her car window.
And he said, "Hey, give me that car." He had the pistol in his hand.
It happened around 7:30 Tuesday night near this intersection in the Brentwood Forest community.
She decided to get back into her car and drive away.
Investigators say minutes later, Jefferson then approached a man just feet away. In the probable cause statement, the victim said he re-entered his vehicle, at which point he heard multiple gunshots through his rearview mirror. He said Jefferson shot out one of his windows as he sat in his car.
He wasn't injured other than some scrapes from the glass that broke from the projectile. We don't know if that was an intentional target.
Police say thanks to witnesses at the scene, they were able to quickly arrest Jefferson. He told officers he thought more than a dozen people were chasing him.
Witnesses didn't see anyone chasing him. All they saw was him firing the weapon. It's kind of our belief at this point that he's suffering from either some sort of a mental crisis or that he was under the influence of some kind of drug.
As for the two victims,
they're extremely lucky, and we could not be more thrilled that they're okay.
police say Jefferson told them that he was high on ecstasy at the time. Tonight, he sits in jail facing multiple charges. We're live in Brentwood. I'm Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
The city of St. Louis is getting federal help to fight violent crime. Today, the Department of Justice announced it's adding St. Louis to its Violent Crime Initiative. The goal is to target gangs and other violent groups. The DOJ says the program has already been successful in other cities, including Detroit, New Orleans, Memphis, and Baltimore. Mayor Tashara Jones released a statement on today's announcement says, quote, "Under my administration, homicides in our city have decreased by 40%. Goes on to say, we welcome this opportunity for St. Louis to work with the Attorney General's office as we continue to build upon our progress in reducing violent crime and saving lives."
A disturbing case out of St. Charles County. Tonight, a daycare worker from St. Peter's is being held without bond on child molestation charges. 19-year-old Rudolph Vlati was arrested this week while at work. Investigators say he admitted to sexually assaulting a child at the daycare and having child sex abuse images on his phone. He is also accused of directing a second child victim to perform a sexual act with another adult.
A $400,000 investment. That's what Normandy school leaders have pledged to step up security at all 7 of its schools.
It includes new security officers to complement police officers on campuses. New tonight, Brent Solomon is here to tell us how it also includes a brand new crisis alert system.
Well, it sure does. I just sat down with the district superintendent. He tells me every staff member will have access to that alert system. They can report an emergency by simply touching their employee ID badge.
Remember this altercation showing a Normandy High teacher and student outside a classroom back in January.
I sincerely believe we could have probably drew some urgent attention to that before it escalated.
Superintendent Dr. Michael Triplett is excited about a new security measure his district is rolling out. In minor situations, teachers and school staff can press this new security badge 3 times.
It could be a student skipping, it could be a student cursing a teacher out, a student being non-compliant. Whatever team the principal deemed as a responder, that team goes to that incident.
Pressing it 8 times notifies police.
It automatically shuts your school down, and you have strobe lights all over the place. It shuts your computers down. It put alert school on lockdown.
Normandy Schools just hired 5 new security officers to complement the 3 school resource officers at its middle and high schools.
Have you recovered any guns this school year?
No, we haven't recovered any guns. We recovered things that would be used in a weapon, like magazines, bullets. We get more drug paraphernalia than we do anything else.
So that is detected in the metal detector?
Yes.
This year, the district added a 3rd metal detector at the middle and high schools. Security coordinator Norman Campbell says Normandy also added some 50 surveillance cameras this year. He says there are cameras inside of every classroom in the district.
That's been our new initiative this year, to go around and make sure that our cameras are hitting all of our blind spots.
And on top of all of that, Normandy also rolled out a district-wide radio system this year. The security coordinator can communicate with staff at every school at one time, helpful when there's a major emergency. The district is still looking to hire 2 more security officers.
We're just 17 hours away from the Cardinals home opener. It's an unofficial holiday in St. Louis.
Yeah, tonight Busch Stadium is quiet, but it's going to be a big party tomorrow. The official Cardinals pep rally at Ballpark Village kicks off at 10 a.m. The gates at Busch open at noon. Pre-game festivities, including the parade of players, Cardinals Hall of Famers, and the Budweiser Clydesdales, starts at 2:30. And right-hander Lance Lynn will throw the first pitch against the Miami Marlins at 3:15. And today the Cardinals unveiled a new exhibit celebrating the Hispanic and Latin players who've worn the birds on the back.
It also celebrates the voices who call Cardinals games in Spanish. Laura Barcheski is live outside the stadium in Ballpark Village tonight, where you got an inside look, Laura.
Mike and Kelly, this new exhibit is called Viva los Cardinals. It details the present all the way back to 1913 of Hispanic and Latin Cardinals players and more who paved the way for the next generation.
Baseball has no language.
That's Polo Asensio.
There's a saying that I borrowed from Manny Mota, great Dominican ball player. He said, Polo, baseball is so weird. The baseball is round and comes in a square box. Think about that. And I'm like, what? That makes no sense. Exactly. Baseball makes no sense.
But Polo tries to make it make sense as one of the many voices of the St. Louis Cardinals. He was the first to call the Birds game play-by-play in Spanish, spicing it up with what he calls Poloisms.
La crema se le salió del taco. You know, the cream came off of the taco, or the meat came off of the taco.
So what's that mean in the game? The ball dropped. His story is one of many represented in the Viva los Cardinals exhibit in the Cardinals Hall of Fame Museum, where the exhibits are printed in Spanish and in English.
It's important for me when people come into the museum that they can see themselves.
Museum curator Amy Barra says it's all to inspire fans and make them feel represented in a game that's for everyone by telling stories for every generation.
I think telling the stories of the first guys, Luis Arroyo, Memo Luna, Julian Javier, Miguel Gonzalez, just these are the guys who were the first, and you know, they haven't really been recognized before.
Polo himself even contributed a Fernando Valenzuela jersey, his baseball idol.
I took it back to LA where he works with the Dodgers, and I asked him to sign it, so he signed it for me. So
he says the whole exhibit reaches beyond the baseball diamond.
This is more than baseball. It's about getting people together. There's a saying that I always say, porque en español el béisbol se vive mucho mejor. Because in Spanish, baseball, you can feel it a lot better.
Fans can see the new exhibit anytime this season. Just head over to Cardinals Nation on the 2nd floor over in Ballpark Village. Reporting live downtown, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
And the Today in St. Louis team will get you prepared for the home opener tomorrow.
They will have live coverage from Busch Stadium starting at 4 a.m. And for all you need to know about opening day at Busch and the Cardinals 2024 season, just text the word CARDS to 314-425-5355. And if you are headed down to the ballpark tomorrow, you need to bundle up.
Yeah, it's not going to feel like baseball weather. Weather First Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is here with an opening day forecast that's kind of out of left field.
Yeah, a little bit so. And we're going to have those gusty winds, but it won't be like what we saw out in L.A. when we were dealing with the scenario that played out last week with a rain delay. That's not going to happen here. We're going to be talking about breezy conditions and lots of clouds, maybe a spritz or two. But tonight we've had areas of rain just percolating across the region. Can't seem to kick this system out. We'll nudge it tomorrow about 100 miles or so farther east than where it's been today. Still in the 40s tonight, still the breeze. We'll drop into the upper 30s. Here's your futurecast going into tomorrow morning, starting right around 10 o'clock. Lots of clouds. They actually thicken through the morning. And as we head into tomorrow afternoon, outside of a few spritzes around St. Louis, most of the showers should stay off to our east on the Illinois side. So if you're heading to the game, the winds will still be gusty. It's still going to be chilly. Temperatures are in the 40s tomorrow. Plan accordingly, but we're playing baseball in St. Louis.
Missouri voters not playing ball on Election Day.
We will have to consider all of our options.
The impact this could have on the future of the Chiefs and Royals in the Show Me State. It's like a bank branch in the palm of your hand, but is it safe? Tonight, the digital banking apps you can bank on.
The man convicted in a crash that caused a Tennessee teen to lose her legs is asking for a new trial. A jury found Daniel Riley guilty last month for the crash that injured Janae Edmondson last year in downtown St. Louis. Riley's lawyers claim evidence of fentanyl and codeine in his system should not have been presented during testimony since he wasn't on trial for those crimes. He's still scheduled to be sentenced later this month. This week, a judge denied the city's late motion to dismiss a civil lawsuit filed by the Edmondson family. They allege the city failed to properly maintain signage and safety at the intersection where she was struck.
A Warrenton family lost everything during this week's severe weather when lightning hit their home. Firefighters say a bolt of lightning ignited a propane tank near the two-story home on Post Oak Drive. Just hours after the fire crews left, the flames rekindled. Now, friends and neighbors are collecting money and items to help the homeowners, Gary and Dina Miller, rebuild.
They literally lost everything. Yes, they have insurance, they will rebuild, but they have no clothes. Gary's a naval veteran also, and he lost all his Navy stuff. I mean, just stuff that's irreplaceable.
2 GoFundMe pages have been set up. We have a link in the As Seen on TV section of KSDK.com.
It was a swing and a miss for the Kansas City Royals and the Kansas City Chiefs on Election Day. Voters in Jackson County overwhelmingly said no to a sales tax to help the Royals build a new stadium and the Chiefs renovate Arrowhead. Both teams now say they're pursuing all options. That includes leaving the Truman Sports Complex. The Royals say the team will vacate Kauffman Stadium after the 2030 season when their lease expires.
We're deeply disappointed as we are steadfast in our belief that Jackson County is far better off with the Chiefs and the Royals. This is a belief that I hold both professionally and personally as someone whose roots run deep in this town, as someone who has been a dedicated fan, a season ticket holder for both of these teams.
The teams must wait 1 year to bring the exact same question to voters again. They can place a new question on a ballot as early as August.
When was the last time you stepped foot into a bank? Well, these days, many of you skip the branch and use phone apps instead.
Now there's been a rapid rise in digital-only banking services, and tonight Consumer Reports looks at which banking apps best protect your money.
Depositing checks, transferring funds, paying bills. Gone are the days of having to go to a physical branch to do any of these chores. Now they can be done anytime, anywhere, using an app. In a recent survey, Consumer Reports found 3 out of 4 Americans use one or more banking apps. Which apps are best?
We evaluated these apps for safety, privacy, transparency, support for financial well-being, and accessibility.
CR's experts looked at the apps of 5 large traditional banks and 5 online-only digital banking providers. If avoiding fees is essential to you when looking for a new banking service, a digital bank may be your best bet, but there is a trade-off.
We found that most of the digital banking providers offered consumers free checking and savings accounts and tended to provide higher interest rates. On the other hand, we found that traditional banks offered more features and tools to help you budget and save.
When it comes to protecting your data, all the apps have flaws, some more serious than others.
Most of these apps tend to share more data than what is needed, while only some of the banking apps allow you to opt out of targeted advertising.
No matter what app you choose, banking securely is important. Use Face ID or a 6-digit PIN to unlock your phone, and on the app itself, enable 2-factor or multi-factor authentication. If you lose your phone, alert your bank right away.
It's also recommended you allow the app to send you notifications for every withdrawal or deposit made to your account so you can quickly spot potential fraud.
And you'll need a bank for all that Powerball money. More than $1 billion is up for grabs tonight. The winning Powerball numbers were drawn just minutes ago. They are 11, 38, 41, 62, 65, and the Powerball is 15. One lucky Missourian is set to receive $1,000 a week for life. A winning ticket for last night's Missouri Lottery Cash for Life drawing was sold at the Deerbergs on Salt Lick Road in St. Peters. The winning ticket matched all 5 white ball numbers drawn, 26, 27, 43, 50, and 56. The cash ball number drawn was 3. The winner has 2 options before taxes. They can claim $52,000 a year for life or a lump sum payment of $1 million.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell apparently did not win Powerball because he is still here, joining us now with the weather first forecast and a chilly one for Cardinal fans.
It is going to be a chilly one tomorrow, but it's not going to be overly wet, so that's the good news that we have. You know, we're still looking at some of these lighter showers drifting through the region tonight. The majority have been along and east of the Mississippi River, and earlier today there was even a little bit of sleet mixed in and some snowflakes for some of us. Not officially, though, it doesn't look like from Lambert today, but either way, a chilly day across the bi-state region. Most of that rain is going to be pushing farther to the east, and you know, we have a big set of days ahead across the St. Louis area. Of course, we are opening things up tomorrow at Busch Stadium. Saturday, not only have baseball Saturday and Sunday, but City SC will be taking the pitch on Saturday evening. And it looks like we'll start a warming trend here going into the weekend because this large storm system is finally going to move off to the east. It is a big system. Systems, when they get this size, it takes a little more effort for them to move. They tend to be slower, and so that's the case with this one. Tomorrow, it shifts a little farther to the east, not a lot, but a little farther to the east, and in doing so, that puts the better rain chances over our eastern counties closer to Interstate 57. But we're still dragging in those cool breezes, still in the 30s, Springfield to the Quad Cities up to Chicago. We're still hanging right around 45, 46 degrees in St. Louis. We haven't moved much this evening. Tomorrow morning, we'll start in the 30s, maybe a little sun early, and then the clouds will build back in. So if you're coming down for the ball game tomorrow, or maybe you're going to your favorite watering hole to watch, well, we'll be looking at clouds tomorrow afternoon and still stuck in the 40s. Most of the rain and perhaps even a wet snowflake will be off to the east and northeast of St. Louis. Heading into tomorrow evening, the clouds will eventually start to break up, and we're set for a pretty quiet Friday into Saturday. But just keep in mind, tomorrow if you're coming down, those winds still could gust 25 to 30 miles per hour. How about the weekend? Saturday looks nice. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures low 60s. Sunday, you'll need the rain gear. Looks like the morning hours will feature showers, maybe some rumbles of thunder. We're going to try to keep this system moving to the east as we head into Monday because, you know, Monday, yeah, the countdown's on. 5 days. 2 o'clock is when we have our solar eclipse. Your forecast for that? Well, it's looking pretty decent. Temperatures will be in the 70s. Right now, it's a mix of sun and clouds. We're using an ensemble approach for that. So we're thinking the models are trending towards less cloud cover as we'll be between weather systems. Still 46 right now. That's our high for the day. Normal for this time of year is 64 degrees. Don't you just wish sometimes we could just be normal? But you know, as they used to say back in the 80s, why be normal? All right, so that's the way it goes in St. Louis. We're one extreme or the other, back into the 70s next week. Tomorrow, they'll play baseball. Doesn't look like any rain delays. but you'll need a couple of extra layers.
Yeah, you will. All right, Scott, thanks.
Frank's next with sports.
So the Blues still have a chance. The Cardinals' road trip is over, and the women's basketball teams around here simply cannot lose a game.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
Warren Buffett once said, the key to life is having low expectations. It worked for Cardinal fans. You see, after last season and the first 2 games of this season, the expectations were lowered. So even though they're still under 500, nobody is really upset right now. Let's go to San Diego. I've always liked Mike Schilt. He's now the Padres manager, but come on, Mike, tell your pitchers to quit hitting our batters 4 times today. Now, this game had less contact than my first date with Monique. That blooper by Nolan Arenado in the 4th was the only RBI hit by the Cardinals. But there was this moment in the bottom of the 4th. Kyle Higashioka, home run, solo shot. Cardinals put 2 on in the 9th, and Robert Suarez ended the game right here. Padres win it 3-2 to make the Cardinals 3-4 on the season. Nobody is upset. The Miami Marlins will be here tomorrow, and they couldn't wait to get out on the road. Today against the Angels, Jake Berger will drive in a run with a base hit. The CBC grad will be seeing tomorrow's festivities from the other dugout. The Marlins were looking for their first win of the season, but the Angels weren't having it. They rough up the fish 10-2. Miami comes here tomorrow 0-7. So much attention has been paid to Josh Schertz and the open job at St. Louis University that the Billiken women's team has quietly moved their way into the WNIT Fab Four. This evening, they tried to get their win total to 21 in Vermont against the Catamounts. March is Tillett time. Rebecca Tillett and SLU won the conference last year. They wanted to take it to Vermont this year. How about Peyton Kennedy? She's unstoppable with 23 points. Brooklyn Gray was pretty good too. SLU having a good April. They're on to the finals to face Minnesota with a 57-54 win. Shauna Green and Illinois in the WBIT championship against Villanova at Hinkle Fieldhouse. Makira cooked too much off 1 foot off the glass, 27 points. Illinois wins the title 71-57. Tomorrow night, Josh Schertz and the Indiana State Sycamores will face Seton Hall for the NIT championship. And sometime next week, he will likely be introduced as the new head coach at SLU. Danny Hurley at UConn is the only Division I coach with more wins than Schertz's 33 this season. Tickets are going for $1,500 for tomorrow's game at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis.
This is one of the true cathedrals, in our game, and so it would be a massive accomplishment. It's something that I think can be a springboard for a program when you look at it, coming in and being able to compete for a championship at the highest level. This is great for our guys.
The Blues are off today, and here is the playoff picture. The Kings are up 3 points. They host the Kraken tonight. They lead it 3-0. If the Kings go 5-3 the rest of the way, the Blues would have to go 7-0 to make the playoffs. In the words of Jim Carrey, so you're telling me there's a chance. There's a chance Boston will win the NBA title. Jason Tatum is the best player on the best team in the NBA. Tonight, the Chaminade star was attacking left hand off glass. Later, how about a little step back jump shot? Tatum had 24. Boston now 60-16 after a 135-100 victory. And that'll do it in sports.
All right, Frank, thanks.
Visitors will eclipse the population of an Illinois town, how they're preparing for Monday's big celestial event.
All right, so we're just 5 days away from the Great American Eclipse, and it will be a sight to see in southern Missouri and Illinois.
Some areas to the south of St. Louis will experience a total solar eclipse. The path of totality will go through towns like Farmington, Cape Girardeau, Centralia, and Carbondale. Now, the population of Carbondale is expected to double to 50,000 people Monday. If you're driving down, be prepared.
Traffic is going to be gridlocked, so there's no way, there's no way to overcome that. We only have X amount of roads, so just stay for a few extra hours, eat, hike, take it in, go to the wineries, and then leave with empty roads.
Just enjoy. Hotels and Airbnbs are all booked up. The city is adding mobile cell towers to boost phone and internet service.
For more information on the best viewing sites, which parties, and where to get your eclipse glasses, just scan the QR code on your screen or text the word eclipse to 314-425-5355. And 5 on your side will have live team coverage along the path of totality. Our live special will air Monday from 1 until 2:30, both on air and streaming on 5+. And Scott, so the people that aren't leaving St. Louis, what will they see?
Well, you know, it's not like it's going to get dark in St. Louis. You have to have your special glasses to be able to, you can't look at it at any point unless it's in totality with your naked eye. So you've got to have the glasses. You're not going to see a lot unless you have those glasses. Then you'll see the partial eclipse. Totality is everything.
Yes.
I'm just saying, if you can get there, it's everything. A lot of people coming to St. Louis on Sunday in preparation for driving southeast on Monday. Tomorrow, good thing we're not having an eclipse. Got a lot of clouds.
Yeah.
Temperature's chilly too.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show is next.
We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great tomorrow.